The entertainment world is currently reeling from a performance that many are calling the definitive moment of 2026, as a part-time waiter from the streets of Glasgow has managed to do what no one thought possible: unite the global audience in a state of absolute shock. Matty Juniosa didn't just walk onto the Britain's Got Talent stage. He hijacked the entire cultural conversation, and now, from the living rooms of London to the bright lights of New York, America can't stop watching the man who was once told he didn't have what it takes. As we dig into the data, the numbers don't lie. Searches for his name have spiked by over 5,000% in the last 48 hours alone, making him a viral enigma that has left industry veterans scrambling for answers. But what makes this story so captivating isn't just the vocal range or the pitch-perfect delivery. It's the sheer audacity of a man who refused to let his dreams remain buried under the weight of a decade of crushing defeat. The atmosphere in the auditorium during his audition was described by eyewitnesses as electric and terrifying, a moment where the air seemed to leave the room as he hit notes that defied the laws of physics. For years, the talent show format has been criticized for being predictable, but Juniosa has shattered that narrative entirely, forcing even the most cynical critics to acknowledge that we are witnessing the birth of a once-in-a-lifetime icon. The question on everyone's lips tonight isn't just who he is, but where he has been hiding all this time, and why it took a literal move across the globe for the world to finally notice the lightning he was holding in his lungs. To understand the man standing under the golden confetti today, we have to look back at the trail of no's that nearly ended his career before it ever truly began. Long before he was a household name in the UK, Matty Juniosa was a struggling artist in the Philippines, navigating a brutal industry that repeatedly labeled him as talented but unmarketable. The records show a history of near misses that would have broken a lesser person. He fought his way into the top 12 of Idol Philippines, only to be sent home in a move that sparked massive outrage among his local fan base. He tried his luck on The Voice, hopping for a turnaround, but the chairs stayed still, and the silence that followed was deafening. He was trapped in a cycle of being almost good enough, a label that began to feel like a life sentence. Sources close to the singer suggest that during this period, the internal struggle was immense, as he dealt with the psychological fallout of being rejected by his own community. He was essentially a ghost in his own industry, a man with a world-class gift who couldn't get a single door to open. The loser narrative was pushed so hard by critics that Juniosa eventually made the heartbreaking decision to leave everything he knew behind. This wasn't just a career move, it was an escape from a reputation that had become a cage. He traded the stage for a plane ticket to Scotland, arriving with nothing but a suitcase and the hope that he could disappear into a normal life, far away from the cameras that had documented his most public failures. But as we now know, you can't outrun a voice that loud, and the very rejection that nearly destroyed him would eventually become the fuel for his most explosive performance to date. Life in Scotland wasn't the glamorous restart many might imagine for a future superstar. Instead, it was a grueling test of endurance that saw Juniosa working long hours in the service industry just to keep his head above water. While the world now sees him in tailored suits under stage lights, just months ago, he was a part-time waiter in Glasgow, clearing tables and taking orders while his dreams gathered dust in the background. It is a staggering contrast. The man who would eventually receive a standing ovation from Simon Cowell spent his days in the anonymity of a busy restaurant, unnoticed by the very public that would soon be obsessing over his every move. Reports from his former coworkers describe a man who was humble to a fault, never mentioning his past on television or the powerhouse vocals he possessed. He was living a double life, a silent superstar in waiting who was more focused on making rent than making music. This period of his life is perhaps the most relatable to the millions of fans now following his journey. It represents the lost years, where potential meets the harsh reality of survival. The mental toll of working a service job while knowing you belong on a stage is a specific kind of pressure, and insiders suggest that Matty had almost entirely given up on the idea of a professional singing career. He had settled into the quiet rhythm of Scotland, believing that his time in the spotlight had come and gone. Little did he know that the mundane routine of his Glasgow life was merely the calm before a global storm, and that the next time he stepped onto a stage, he wouldn't just be a contestant, he would be a revelation that the world was desperate to see. The moment the golden buzzer hit the floor, it didn't just signal Matty's advancement in the competition. It signaled a complete breakdown of the show's established rules, sparking a controversy that has divided the fanbase. Simon Cowell, a man known for his rigid standards and judge-first mentality, appeared to lose all composure during Matty's audition, smashing the buzzer with a ferocity that suggested he knew he was witnessing something historic. But the drama didn't stop there. As the competition progressed, Matty managed to secure a second golden buzzer from Amanda Holden, a move so rare that it led to immediate accusations of favoritism and producer-led rigging. Critics across social media began to question the integrity of the show, wondering if the path was being cleared for Juniosa at the expense of other contestants. The term, unfair advantage, began to trend, as skeptics argued that no single act should be allowed that much momentum. However, the counterargument is equally powerful. When a talent is this undeniable, do the rules even matter? The double golden incident has become a focal point for the 2026 season, turning the show into a battleground between those who believe in the traditional process and those who believe Matty is a force of nature that transcends the format. Industry insiders have hinted that the production team was internally conflicted about the move, fearing a backlash that could damage the show's reputation. But the sheer volume of viewer engagement made it impossible to ignore. Whether it was a calculated PR move or a genuine moment of spontaneous awe, the result is the same. Matty Juniosa has become the most talked-about contestant in the history of the franchise, and the controversy has only served to make his shadow loom even larger over the competition. Behind the scenes of the high-stakes performances and the viral clips, a much darker story was unfolding, one that almost brought the Matty Juniosa era to a tragic and premature end. While the public saw a confident performer hitting impossible notes, the reality backstage was a scene of medical emergency and high-stress intervention. Reports have surfaced that during the height of the filming schedule, Juniosa was found in a state of total physical collapse on the dressing room floor, having pushed his body well beyond its breaking point. The pressure of the double golden expectations, combined with a grueling rehearsal schedule, led to what sources describe as a system failure. Medics were reportedly rushed to the scene as the singer became unresponsive, leading to a panicked lockdown of the set. For several hours, there was genuine fear among the staff that Matty wouldn't just be leaving the show, but that he was facing a long-term health crisis that could silence his voice forever. The incident was kept under tight wraps by the network to avoid a PR nightmare, but the gravity of the situation was undeniable. This wasn't just a case of nerves. It was a manifestation of the immense weight he had been carrying, the weight of his family's hopes, his country's pride, and his own desperate need to succeed after years of failure. He was eventually stabilized, but the fainting spell, as it was officially called, was a sobering reminder of the human cost of entertainment. The fact that he returned to the stage, just days later to deliver another flawless performance, is being hailed as a miracle of willpower, though many are now asking if the price of fame is becoming too high for the young star to pay. As we look at the trajectory of this Scottish-Filipino phenomenon, it's clear that the Matty mania isn't a localized trend. It has become a global movement that is redefining what it means to be a star in the digital age. America, in particular, has developed a strange and intense fascination with his story, with US-based talent scouts and record labels reportedly already in a bidding war for his signature. The data suggests that his Purple Rain cover has been streamed more times in North America than in the UK, a rare feat for a BGT contestant. He has become a symbol of the outsider's victory, a narrative that resonates deeply with the American psyche. But as the spotlight grows brighter, the scrutiny intensifies. The rumors of a pre-planned career launch continue to swirl, with some suggesting that his waiter from Glasgow persona was a carefully crafted underdog story designed to manipulate the audience. While there is no concrete evidence of this, the speculation itself proves just how much of an impact he has made. People simply cannot believe that a talent this massive could be discovered so late in the game. Regardless of the theories, the verdict from the global public is unanimous. Matty Juniosa is the man of the hour. He has transcended the contestant label and entered the realm of the cultural icon. As the finals approach, the world is holding its breath to see if he can complete the ultimate redemption arc, or if the pressure of the world's expectations will finally be the one thing he can't overcome. One thing is certain. The music industry will never be the same after the 2026 season, and the waiter from Glasgow is now the man the entire world is waiting for.